What is your takeaway as you left Phoenix and now think about things back here in Los Angeles?
Yeah, so from the Lakers' perspective, I was disappointed by the lack of urgency that they started that game with. Getting down by, trailing by 17 at the end of the first quarter, to me was inexcusable with how important that game was. And it felt like, I mean, I know for us, sometimes people in the media kind of complain about the early start times. Like there's pros to it. You're done earlier.
I like it.
You can enjoy the
I
rest
do.
of the day.
I like the early. You're home early.
But I'm not much of a morning person, so for me, it kind of throws off my routine. I have to get there a bit earlier. So it felt like the team thought the game was starting at 7:30 still, or
that first quarter,
maybe 2:30. But that was a rough start. And to me, again, with the margin for error that they have, for them to come out that way, and then as AD talked about, and different players talked about after the game, like you basically have to play a perfect game the rest of the way. And they had several runs. They didn't give up. They were resilient. There was that stretch where they got it to 2 late in the third, and it looked like maybe it was going to follow the script of the first 3 Lakers wins against the Suns, where Suns go up big, Lakers methodically chip away at the lead. Then in the fourth quarter, Suns kind of collapse, Lakers take over, and they win the game. But the Suns role players made some big shots. I think part of that was the Lakers' defensive strategy. As Darvin likes to say, operation successful, patient dies. That was to me like you stopped Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, but you still lost the game because Nurkic goes off for 18 and 22. Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen each hit 6 threes.
6 threes.
And those guys get confident throughout the course of the game. And then when it comes to crunch time and they have to make big shots, they're already in a rhythm because you've been leaving them open because you're doubling, shading over, all that stuff. So to me, I think the defensive strategy, I understood it because, like, point of attack, they don't have the best isolation defenders right now available, given who's out. But I do think it ultimately kind of cost them where those guys were able to get into a rhythm, and that kind of snowballed throughout the game.
So, Brez, operation successful, patient died. That's not what happens in every NBA surgery, which we know is always successful. The immediate after it happens, that's in the aftermath, right? We know that every surgery is successful. I was kind of struck in the first half by the lack of offensive or the lack of defensive rebounding by the Lakers as something that just typified a lot of what Jovan was saying. It was 9-0 in the first half. And I do think that Phoenix deserves some credit for playing bigger. Frank Vogel knows what's going to work against LeBron and AD, certainly. And so, like, in doing that, though, Nurkic was all over the offensive glass. Bol came in. O'Neal, the aforementioned, who hit 6 threes, was getting offensive rebounds, sometimes on the jump shots. And that just, to me, showed that maybe the Lakers weren't as queued up on one hand. And then B, maybe they played a little bit smaller. Again, going to big minutes off the bench for Prince, big minutes off the bench for Dinwiddie, only 5 for Jackson Hayes. Christie only gets 5. So what did you think, Brett? Was it a mix of those two things?
Yeah, I think it's attrition, too. I mean, look, no Christian Wood. He can get you some rebounds. No Jared Vanderbilt, who is a very good rebounder from his position. Hurts to miss those guys, period. Not going to claim injury whining, though. Darvin put a stop to that a few weeks ago when he said, no more injury excuses. It's time to play. And I agree. And I heard some of the complaints about the free throws after the game, but to me, the game was lost because of the offensive rebounding. Lakers had 3 as a team. Nurkic by himself had 7. And Phoenix is not known as a good rebounding team. They were 21st before that game last night.
Oh, and there were those 2 killer ones in the first quarter that resulted in threes, right? Immediately, like offensive rebound 3, next possession, offensive rebound 3, and Lakers all of a sudden they're down 15.
Yeah, I mean, it almost looked like a power play, but a 5-on-3 power play throughout the entire game. I mean, it was just so hard for the Lakers to squeeze a defensive rebound. After a while, it's like, this team, again, not a real great rebounding team, very mediocre, and they really beat the Lakers on the boards. And then I would say, the free throw disparity is weird. Not one free throw for AD. None for the Lakers in the second half. There's something there too. But to me, it's intent and effort, and there was a lack of that, and you can tell by the rebounding.